It's Tuesday. XSplit's on strike. I'm getting ready to throw my laptop out the window, and United has gone barbarian. It can only be time for
the morning brawl.
All right.
Yeah, I had to do that.
Yeah, we did because some things just are irresistible. So, a couple of announcements. We've been stream hopping to help everybody get exposure, and I helped somebody that we are going to shout out later on in the show because he's only got 19 subs. So his link, like everything else, is going to be where you usually find those. I am downloading OBS because XSplit this morning, no matter what we did, no matter what processes we stopped in the background, no matter how many scenes I deleted, it was still like playing invisible freeze tag. I would do this, and 5 seconds later, you would see me do this on the video, and that was annoying me to no end. So, we're recording this on the cam strictly and then editing it later. I am downloading OBS. Our buddy Optimus Christ is going to walk me through on how to use it because, big announcement, starting Monday, the Morning Brew is going to be a live stream cast. So you're going to be able to see all the bloopers, all the oopses, all the everythings, and every once in a while you may actually see a rant.
Yeah, she was looking at me.
Yes, I was looking at you. He tends to do that.
There are a few times, and I apologize, but there are a few times when something strikes me as so idiotic.
Yeah.
That I get triggered.
Yeah.
Point blank. I try to look at everything objectively.
Sometimes.
But every once in a while, there's that one special case where.
No, something puts a burr in his saddle, and he's got to, his Cherokee shows. Let's put it that way.
I think it's a little bit more of that Scotch blood.
Probably. Combination of both.
Not really a good combination.
No, not really a good combination. So, yep, we got a little bit of different format, but that doesn't mean that it isn't time for
the news.
On the quick news today, it's a couple of stories from yesterday, but I figure they're still relative to today, so we're going to read those. First headline, Wells Fargo faults aggressive culture in Salesforce scandal. So listen up, those of you who bank with Wells Fargo. Bank senior management to blame for what is being called aggressive sales culture. This culture led to employees opening millions of customer accounts without customer authorization. The investigation was released today and calls for $180 million to be clawed back from CEO John Stumpf and Carrie Tolstead. This report has been in the works since September of last year, and the bank has acknowledged opening up 2 million checking and credit card accounts without customer approval just to meet unrealistic sales goals. Okay, out of Washington, Trump sells fighters to Nigeria to help fight Boko Haram. The administration will move forward with its sales of high-tech fighter jets to the Nigerian government group to help their efforts against Boko Haram. This is in spite of concerns over the nation's security forces being accused of abuse. The sale, which is supposed to have been approved before Obama left office, and I put that in and left that in on purpose, will be set in motion after a formal notification is received by Congress. The price tag on up to 12 Embraer A-29 Super Tucano aircraft with state-of-the-art targeting systems, $600 million. Officials are not allowed to speak about any other terms of the deal.
Well, so we go from we're selling people stuff to blow things up, and just before that, and it's like, here, we're opening up this credit line for you whether you want it or not.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I like credit unions, because credit unions aren't as commercial as banks, in my opinion. And the last time we were in a bank and said we didn't have a checking account, they were offering us how many services?
Yeah, many.
Yeah.
I have to just say I'm glad I have coffee.
All right, on to the bigger stories.
There's bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear, this might go downhill directly.
All right. G7 foreign ministers seek new push to end Syria war. Out of Lucca, Italy, foreign ministers from the group of 7 industrialized nations are expected to call Tuesday for a new international push to end the war in Syria, but are divided on whether to threaten new sanctions, like those work, or other tough measures to pressure Russia over its support of President Bashar Assad. Italian Foreign Minister Angelino Alfano said the U.S. intervention had offered a window of opportunity to construct a new positive condition for the political process in Syria. But he said a political rather than military process was the only solution, according to Italian news agency ANSA. British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson said the G7 was considering new sanctions on Russian military figures to press Moscow to end the military support for the toxic Assad government. U.S. officials in Washington have also raised the prospect. I'm doing this because that's whenever I have to quote something, so I don't have to keep saying quote and unquote. But others want a more conciliatory approach. German Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel said Russia and Assad ally Iran must be involved in any peace process to end Syria's 6-year civil war. Not everyone may like it, but without Moscow and without Tehran, there will be no solution for Syria, he said. Japanese Foreign Ministry spokesman Masato Otaka said that in terms of dialogue and other political engagement, I think a lot of countries think that Russia can play a key role. They can. They probably won't, but they can. The other G7 members, Germany, France, Britain, Canada, Japan, and current President Italy, are also trying to grasp what the U.S. administration's foreign policy is amid conflicting signals from Washington. British Prime Minister Theresa May's office said she and U.S. President Donald Trump spoke by phone Monday and agreed there is a window of opportunity to persuade Russia that its support for Assad is no longer in its strategic interest. Until Trump ordered U.S. missile strikes in response to the nerve gas attack that killed more than 80, the president had focused on defeating the Islamic State group and had shown no appetite for challenging Assad, and by extension, his Russian supporter, President Vladimir Putin. Even since the missile strike, signals have been mixed. On Monday, Tillerson raised fresh expectations for aggressive U.S. action, and not only in Syria, as he visited the site of World War II Nazi massacre in central Italy, saying the U.S. would hold to account all who commit crimes against the innocents anywhere in the world. Boy, talk about putting a lot of words in your mouth. Though such comments hint at a more activist U.S. foreign policy focused on preventing humanitarian atrocities, Trump has consistently suggested he prefers the opposite approach. His new administration has generally downplayed human rights concerns while promoting an America First strategy, de-emphasizing the concerns of foreign nations. The G7 members broadly agree that Assad should go, but not necessarily when or how. European leaders are especially conscious of the disaster in Libya, where an internationally backed ouster of dictator Muammar Gaddafi was followed by a descent into chaos and factional fighting, which is still going on.
Mm-hmm.
The G7 is taking place amid an ongoing terror threat that was underscored by the Palm Sunday bombing of Coptic churches in Egypt, which I will cover later on today, claimed by the Islamic State group and other truck attack European soil, this time in Stockholm on Friday. The situation does not seem to be getting better at all, and I think the international community, including Japan and the U.S., would need to show its determination to resolve the situation and to make a strong commitment to actually get the international community on board this one as well. This was Pion, the spokesman for the Japanese Foreign Ministry. And that is what he said. So they're trying to fix the mess, but without Putin's cooperation, you're going to make a bigger one, I think. I hushed.
I'm good. I'm glad because I have something to say.
Go for it.
I have a couple of things to say.
All
First
right.
off, and everything. They're okay with the launching of Tomahawk missiles to deal with a toxic situation in Syria. Can we do that to 50 Splinters? She's a toxic feminist.
She hasn't gassed anybody. Well, that depends on who she's farted on recently. But really, it's, you know.
She's hanging. She hung out with Steve Shives and everything. He's the biggest hot air windbag I know.
Honey, well, yeah, but he has to relinquish his dick and his balls to his wife every day. So what do you expect?
Well, I need to go and collect his man card then, because he's no longer a member of the group. And shave that fucking beard.
And please change your hat.
Jesus flipping Christ.
I know.
Look. All right, everybody. I just want to go about this. No, nobody really wants to go back into a ground war again. None of us. I see a lot of comments going on about, the U.S. not getting involved. And this is the only reason I take issue with it. I don't care which side gassed them. If it was Assad, he was dead wrong. You killed children and non-combatants. So I could care less than, 2 cents about how you feel about that. Other people say, well, it was the terrorists. Okay, well, if the terrorists have access to that kind of weaponry, and we all know how hard it is to sneak things into the U.S. these days, when do you want to get involved? When one of those goes off in a major metropolitan city?
Yeah.
Oh, that could never happen. Actually, yes, it could.
Yeah.
This is a problem that we're having to deal with. This is why our vetting process needs to be a lot better. To prevent things like this from occurring here. The things like happened in Stockholm. Gas attacks. You're not talking about a very large device.
No.
It doesn't have to be big at all and everything. As a matter of fact, some of these devices can fit inside a suitcase.
There's a book, or there used to be a book that was floating around the internet that you could download called The Anarchist Cookbook. It literally told you how to make pipe bombs and bombs as small as a freaking purse. So I mean, if that's out there, yeah. So I mean, there's no.
I read it before it was outlawed in the U.S.
Yeah.
And everything. There's the Anarchist Handbook and the Anarchist Cookbook. Read both of them when preteens. And everything. Just because somebody said, "Oh, this is a really weird book. You got to read this," and I did. It is a really, really weird book. It's all it is about, and everything is anti-personnel devices. Seriously, that's what it's about. Tillerson, Russia must choose between Assad and the U.S. What a choice. Decisions. Lucca, Italy. We must go to Italy, to Venice. Never mind. What? It's full moon. Wolf. Full moon. Never mind.
No, he's not other kin. Right.
No, I just really like the full moon. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson issued an ultimatum to Russia on Tuesday. Side with the U.S. and like-minded countries on Syria, or embrace Iran, militant group Hezbollah, and embattled Syrian leader Bashar Assad. As he embarked on a trip to Moscow following urgent meetings in Italy with top diplomats, Tillerson said it was unclear whether Russia had failed to take seriously its obligation to rid Syria of chemical weapons or had merely been incompetent. But he said the distinction just doesn't matter to the dead. We want to relieve the suffering of the Syrian people. Russia can be a part of that future and play an important role, Tillerson added in remarks to reporters, or Russia can maintain its alliance with this group, which we believe is not going to serve Russia's interests long term. Tillerson is traveling to Russia for several days after a chemical attack in Syria and a U.S. airstrike on a Syrian government base that Moscow on Tuesday dismissed as an act of aggression. Moscow is a staunch ally of President Bashar Assad, whom the United States blamed for the chemical attack. Since the U.S. launched airstrikes against Assad's forces in retaliation for a chemical attack on civilians last week, Trump administration officials have offered mixed messages about whether Washington believes Assad definitely must surrender power and when. Tillerson said it was unclear the U.S. saw no role for Assad in Syria's future, given that he had lost legitimacy. It is clear to all of us that the reign of Assad's family is coming to an end, he said, but the question of how that ends and the transition itself could be very important in our view to the durability, the stability, and the inside of a unified Syria.
Yeah, because you don't need to leave another power vacuum.
Mm-hmm. He said the ceasefire talks that Russia and Iran have helped broker in the Kazakh capital, Astana, could generate momentum toward broader talks about a political transition if the Astana talks succeed in creating a durable ceasefire. The resulting political talks would take place under the auspices of the United Nations process in Geneva. To date, Astana has not achieved much progress, Tillerson said. A key focus since the chemical attack has been on increasing pressure on Russia, Assad's strongest ally, which has used its own military to keep Assad in power. The U.S. and others have said that Russia bears responsibility for the deaths of civilians at the hand of Assad's, given Moscow's role in guaranteeing the 2013 deal in which Assad was supposed to have given up his chemical weapons arsenal. That accusation will hang over Tillerson's visit to Moscow, where he plans to meet with Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, and possibly with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The United States has sought to minimize expectations for the trip, or the likelihood that the U.S. will leave with any concessions from Russia regarding its support for Assad. Instead, the U.S. is hoping to use the visit, the first by a Trump cabinet official to Russia, to convey its expectations to Moscow and then allow the Russians a period of time to respond. At Tuesday's meeting in the walled Tuscan city of Lucca, the G7 countries were joined by diplomats from Muslim-majority nations including Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. The inclusion of those countries is important because the U.S. strategy for Syria involves enlisting help from Mideast nations to ensure security and stability in Syria after the Islamic State group is vanquished.
That's the end of that story. Yeah, you have to be really careful when you remove Assad, because there have been too many times that we have removed somebody, Saddam Hussein, and left a power vacuum and made a bigger mess than was started. Not saying that Hussein didn't need to be, gotten rid of or taken care of.
Look, we arrested him and everything. His own people tried and hung him.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
And Hussein used sarin and mustard gas attacks on his own people.
He was a real son of a bitch.
So I'm not going to complain about that. I'm not going to apologize for us being there.
He went to the school of Fidel Castro and just upped it a bit. All right, next story. Chicago, United lambasted over man dragged off plane. Chicago AP, several minutes after a passenger recorded video watched around the world that showed security officers dragging another passenger off an overbooked United Express flight at Chicago O'Hare's International Airport, a smaller snippet of video showed an even more troubling scene. There stood the passenger who had been dragged on his back to the front of the plane, appearing dazed as he spoke through bloody lips and blood that spilled out into his chin. "I want to go home. I want to go home," he said. The treatment of the passenger on Sunday night prompted outrage and scorn on social media and anger among some of the passengers on the flight as the unidentified man was evicted. The incident risks a backlash against United from passengers who could boycott the airline as the busy summer travel season is about to begin. Oops. For Chicago, it is another public relations nightmare, adding to its reputation as a city unable to curb a crime wave in some neighborhoods, which President Donald Trump has highlighted with critical tweets. The embarrassing incident spiraled out of control from a common air travel issue, an overbooked flight. United was trying to make room for 4 employees of a partner airline, meaning 4 people had to get off the flight to Louisville. At first, the airline asked for volunteers, offering $400, and when that didn't work, $800 per passenger to relinquish a seat. When no one voluntarily came forward, United selected 4 passengers at random. I'll take the $800. I'll get off the plane for $800. Give me the $800. 3 deplaned, but the 4th, a man who said he was a doctor and needed to get home to treat patients on Monday, refused. 3 men, identified later as City Aviation Department security officers, got on the plane. 2 officers tried to reason with the man before a third came aboard and pointed at the man, basically saying, "Sir, you have to get off the plane." And Tyler Bridges, a passenger, whose wife Audra D. Bridges posted a video on Facebook. One of the security officers could be seen grabbing the screaming man from his window seat across the armrest and dragging him down the aisle by his arms. The other passengers on Flight 3411 were heard saying, "Please, my God, what are you doing? This is wrong. Look at what you did to him," and busted his lip. Okay. Opinion number 1. Once he said he was a doctor and needed to go home to treat patients, move to somebody else and ask them if they want to get off the plane. Because I'm sorry. If he needs to go home to treat patients, that means that he has appointments to meet, patients to treat, and people to keep healthy, regardless of whether he's an allopathic doctor or a natural health doctor. That takes priority over anybody else. Move on, find somebody else. Don't beat the piss out of somebody to get him off a goddamn plane.
Oh, I've got one even better. Come put your motherfucking hands on me. It's going to take a lot more than 3 of you.
That was ridiculous.
You start lining the ambulances up and everything. That's a choke point. In case people don't realize, it's a choke point and everything. There's not too many. When you're coming on the flight, there's only one way for you to come in and come down that aisle. Mm-hmm. The aisles are very, very narrow and everything. You're only going to be able to come at me one-on-one. Line up the ambulances or get the man ready with the gun to shoot.
Yep. All right. You know what's next?
We have some mentions.
We have some mentions this morning.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
And we're back.
And we're back. First one on the list is Chris Stuckman. For those of you still on the fence about the whole Ghost in the Shell movie, he did a very in-depth and insightful review of the movie. Now, he is one of these people like us that has seen the show, that has seen all the movies, and he's comparing the animation to the live action, and he says in terms of storyline, regarding Motoko, that they made some improvements. And he also said that they did change the bad guy in the movie, but it sort of works for what the movie's going for. So you guys go ahead and watch this video. And like I said, it's very insightful, and he actually liked the movie. He very much liked the movie. Our buddy Dave. We've got 2 videos for our buddy Dave this morning. One is a minds.com tutorial where he teaches you how to use the desktop version of that website. And another one where he goes through and he gives his review and what VidMe is all about. So those are 2 videos to go check on Dave's channel over there. Next one is Dark Art. Dark Art is a friend of mine. He has a very small channel. He does, we call him the other papa of the internet, which he is.
Dark Art is very, very cool.
Yes, we love and respect him.
I expect everybody that goes to see him to be very, very polite.
Yep. And on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you're not at work and you have some spare time, he does host a Quiplash game on his channel at that time. And check him out for any videos and stuff, any content that he may have on there too, because he's a really cool guy. You guys go over there and take a look at Dark Art.
That reminds me, Dark Art would have stayed longer last night, but I was really hurting when I got home from work.
He was.
I keep having this problem. I see work. If nobody else is doing it, I jump in there and do it.
And then when he gets home, his body reminds him that he's 49 and not 29. Usual thing.
Mm-hmm.
Emperor Volcan. This is the guy I was referring to at the beginning of the show that I helped with a live stream over the weekend. He's a really neat guy. He has commentary videos on his channel. Go check him out. Give him support, guys. He only has 19 subs.
Nope, gotta give this guy some love.
Yeah, watch his. I mean, he has some really good videos. He responds to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're SJW. It doesn't matter if you claim to be a skeptic. It doesn't matter if you're anti-SJW or anti-feminist. He has response videos to everybody. So go check him out. And he's pretty cool on Twitter, too. I may put his Twitter link down there, too.
Okay.
Y'all go give him some support. And our lovable Thoggy is the last one on the list. And you know, as everybody follows...
Thoggy is last? Why is Thoggy last?
Because I do this in alphabetical order, so Thoggy's last. But that doesn't mean we love him any less. Thoggy is very religiously following Shia LaBeouf's adventures with He Will Not Divide Us, and his season 5 video is absolutely funny. He breaks down where Shia is with his two friends now and how they're doing it, and he's acting like he's not being taped, which is the whole freaking hilarious. It's like at the beginning of the show when you're trying to figure out your stories for the video, and it's that kind of format. You have got to go over there and watch Thoggy's video.
It was highly entertaining and everything. Yes, Thoggy. I watched it with her.
Yeah.
Everything that she watches, I get to watch too.
Yep. Which is why in some mornings when people are doing response videos to Riley, he goes, "I haven't had enough coffee for that idiot yet."
Yeah. He's a 3-cup guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I said guy.
He is a guy.
You think that's violent?
No.
Riley?
Ready? That
is a
man. That's going to be a catchphrase, Magog. You know it.
Yes, it is.
All right. Now
need to bring out my dwarven voice for Magog.
You know what? You know what it's time for.
Oh my God! Hashtags.
The hashtag. Yeah, it's that time.
It is that time.
All right. This morning, as you know, every time somebody fucks up, there's going to be a hashtag. This morning isn't any different. Hashtag new United Airlines motto. Hashtag United Airlines motto. Don't worry, our CEO will be fired by 5 p.m. today.
Fly the unfriendly skies.
Yeah. Don't worry about fucking up. We'll do it for you. Oh, sorry.
Let's see. Our mistakes are your problem.
Where the customer is always right to book an attorney.
Fly the hostile skies with United Airlines.
Welcome to the new fight class. Win the fight or lose your seat.
You, me, nobody will hit as hard as taking an overbooked flight with United. Rocky Balboa's speech to his son.
Need a laugh? Head over to hashtag United Airlines mottos.
Flying with us is a drag.
Now offering first class, coach, and nuclear seating.
We won't count your bottoms.
Your paid seats are no match for our employees.
United, allowing screaming and no leggings since the beginning.
In as a doctor, out as a patient. In as an enforcer, out as a criminal.
In our defense, we've only said the skies were friendly.
Smile! Don't be a drag.
United we stand. Recommended you fall.
Reaccommodated.
Oh, reaccommodated, damn.
Your employees come first. Fuck the customers.
Defeat your seat.
We serve hot coffee. How many lumps do you want?
4 passengers selected at random by computer. Bullshit.
Yeah. Our CEO welcomes you on board. Let me see if I can. CEO.
Nick Nolte.
We'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah, never do that again.
Sorry.
Throw mama from the train, doctor from the plane.
No hiring flight attendants / bouncers. Let's skip this one.
Yeah, I could apply for that. Wait a minute.
I gotta get to the right
I
one.
think bouncer's good money.
I gotta get to the best one of all, which is my favorite one. Let me see here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we found it this morning, and I've got to find it because this is gonna be the last one of the morning, and we get to show everybody. All right, let's see here. Almost there. Almost there, guys. Hang in there. Almost there. Here we go. Don't worry. We won't talk about it. Can you see that?
Fight Club.
Yeah. United Airlines introduces new cabin class, Fight Club.
That's right.
And that ends the hashtag new United Airlines mottos. Because, you know, everybody has to.
I got my ticket. I got my seat. Come at me, bro.
United Airlines, when we fuck up, we do it in spades.
Fly United. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that gentleman's name that just won it in a lawsuit?
Yeah.
The People's Airline.
Well, that's the show for today, and you will find a couple of different links down there at the bottom. I've got a... What?
It's over?
Yeah.
We're done?
Yeah.
I'm so blue. This is one of the things that actually perks me up in the morning when we get a chance to do this. I can't wait to start the new live stuff.
Yeah, we can't wait to go live. There are a couple of changes in the comment section below. The Reddit link is going to be gone. It's going to be replaced by a Discord link. Okay, it's going to be a permanent link, and you're going to see all the different channels that I have on there that coincide with my channel here. And there's also a submission section on the Discord link, and you can talk to us because we're both monitoring it. So if you want to talk to us personally, there's also a submission channel for news stories you want us to read or do videos on and stuff, and we can get around to doing that as well. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, Base Mama is still reorganizing stuff on her channel, but she will be up and running pretty soon. So give her some time. She's avoiding some drama, and I'm sure most of you know to whom I'm referring. So I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to.
Well, it doesn't matter. And to me, he apologized to you, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him for doing that. We're gonna now commit to being Switzerland for a little while and being completely neutral.
Yeah, go on about our business. Also, too, I'm probably going to be doing, there will be a Maisie video and also probably a third video today, which is going to be more of like a commercial offering, our services and stuff like that, and, shilling my jewelry because, shill.
And if anybody out there just wants my voice for anything, it is for sale. Cheap.
Just his voice. I'm stressing that, Liz. Just his voice.
You had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Yes, I did. As always, my friends, may your coffee ever flow, may your caffeine be ever strong, and may you have a totally terrific Tuesday.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks for spending a bit of your morning with us as we sipped coffee, talked news, and had fun in the process. We appreciate you stopping by our little corner of the internet and invite you to start a conversation in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out our other videos, and as always, stay funny, stay weird, and stay caffeinated.